The storm rolled in faster than the weather reports predicted, black, violent, and hungry. Waves slammed against the crumbling wooden pier where Alden Reyes, a 34-year-old single dad, had taken his daughter for a quiet evening of fishing. But the moment he heard the faint, desperate pounding coming from offshore, everything changed. Out on the water, half submerged and tilting sideways, was a sleek white yacht, its lights flickering as if gasping for breath, while a young woman in a soaked cream dress clung to its sinking edge, her body trembling, her eyes half shut. Without a second thought, without fear for his own life, Alden dove into the churning sea. That if you believe kindness still matters in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Journal to keep these stories alive. Alden had always been calm under pressure. It was a necessity he'd learned after becoming a father at 24, then losing his wife 6 years later in a road accident that shattered their quiet life. Since then, he worked as a mechanic during the day and a part-time fisherman at dusk, doing whatever it took to keep food on the table for his 8-year-old daughter, Mira. Responsibility, sacrifice, resilience. The words were woven so deeply into him that they shaped how he reacted to everything, including the terrifying sight of the yacht going under. The woman seemed unconscious by the time he reached her. The coldness of her skin shocked him. Her hand slipped from the metal edge just as he grabbed her wrist with both hands. Kicking powerfully against the violent current, Alden pulled her off the collapsing step and toward the surface. When her head broke through the water, she gasped, coughing salt water into his shoulder. He kept one arm around her upper body, scanning for a pocket of calmer water. In the distance, Mira stood on the pier screaming for him, her little voice cracking, but he yelled back that everything would be okay. With powerful strokes, he swam toward the shallows, the waves dragging him one way and his daughter's terrified cries pulling him the other. Finally, he lifted the woman's limp form onto the wet sand, pushing back her waterlogged hair to check her breathing. She coughed again, and relief washed over him. Mira dropped to her knees beside them, clutching her father's arm. "Daddy, is she alive?" "She will be," Alden whispered, trying to mask the exhaustion ripping through his muscles. An ambulance arrived minutes later. The woman was taken away, but not before briefly opening her eyes, startling blue and filled with disorientation. She mouthed something, "Thank you," maybe, before the medics closed the doors. Alden thought that was the end of it. He didn't know her name. He didn't know she was one of the most powerful CEOs on the coast, owner of a tech empire worth hundreds of millions. He didn't know the yacht was hers, or that she'd escaped a sabotage incident that would make headlines within hours. He didn't know any of it. He only knew she was a human being who needed saving. The storm cleared by morning. He made Mira breakfast, simple eggs and toast, their usual. The sun rose with quiet warmth, glinting off their tiny, old house on the edge of the fishing village. Life felt normal again, but then the engines arrived. 5 black SUVs crept down the dirt road like a procession of silent shadows. Mira dropped her spoon. Alden's shoulders tensed. Vehicles like that never came out this far. When the convoy stopped in front of their house, the doors opened simultaneously. At first Alden thought he was dreaming. But then he saw her, the woman he'd saved, stepping out carefully, dressed in a pale beige blouse and tailored slacks, her hair tied back, eyes clear and sharp now. She looked nothing like the fragile figure he had pulled from the water. Instead, she radiated presence, authority, and something else he couldn't quite name. Gratitude, maybe, or disbelief. "My name is Kira Solence," she said, her voice controlled but carrying a tremor underneath. "And you saved my life last night." Alden blinked. Mira hid behind him. "You don't have to thank me," he replied quietly. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Kira said firmly. "They wouldn't." Her security team stood behind her, waiting, scanning, rigid. She ignored them entirely. "I don't remember much," she continued, "but I remember your face pulling me out of the water. I wouldn't be alive without you." Alden shifted awkwardly. "I was just fishing with my daughter. Right place, right time." A faint, emotional smile touched her lips. "Right place, right man." Kira asked if she could speak with him privately. They sat outside on the old wooden steps while Mira stayed inside. Kira explained everything. The late-night meeting on the yacht, the explosion in the engine room, the investigation underway. She had tried to use the emergency raft, but a secondary blast threw her into the water and knocked her consciousness in and out. She managed to climb back onto the boat just before Alden reached her. "I owe you a debt I can never repay," Kira whispered, her eyes softening. "But I need to try." He shook his head instantly. "I didn't save you for a reward." "I know," she replied. "That's why I'm offering something different." Kira visited their small home, looked at the peeling paint and the crooked porch, saw the backpack Mira had outgrown but was still using for school. She saw the patched clothes on the drying line and the aging pickup Alden used for work. She didn't pity them. She respected them. There was something honest, grounded, and quietly noble about how they lived. "I want to help," she said simply, but Alden refused repeatedly. He was proud, self-reliant, and had worked his whole life to raise his daughter on his own terms. Yet Kira didn't give up. For the next several days, she returned, never with money, gifts, or obligations, but with conversation, kindness, and genuine curiosity about their lives. She helped Mira with homework. She brought books from her own childhood, saying Mira reminded her of herself, bright, curious, and thoughtful. She asked Alden about his work, his challenges, and his dreams. And slowly, a fragile connection grew between them, unspoken but real. What struck Alden most was how human she was beneath her status. She laughed easily with Mira, asked sincere questions, and carried a loneliness that shimmered beneath her confident exterior. She admitted she had no close family, no partner, no one she trusted. Her entire world was built on boardrooms, negotiations, and protecting herself from people who wanted something from her. Except Alden. He wanted nothing. One afternoon, as they walked near the shoreline, she stopped abruptly. "You saved me," she said softly. "But I think what scares me is that you don't realize you're saving me again every time I come here." Alden looked at her, startled. Her eyes held something raw, exposed, tender, but before he could respond, her phone rang with urgent news. Her company had discovered evidence linking a former executive to the sabotage. She had to attend an emergency press conference. She left with a promise to return, and she did, but not alone. The next morning, exactly 1 week after the rescue, the SUVs returned. Not 5 this time, but 3, followed by a moving truck, a legal team, and her board members. Alden stepped outside, deeply confused, Mira clutching his hand. Kira emerged holding a stack of papers and a small, velvet box. Her eyes were shining. "I know you don't want a reward," she said quietly. "So this isn't one. This is an investment in your daughter's future and in yours." Inside the documents were a scholarship fund for Mira that would carry her through university, a new home, already purchased in both their names, near the coast but safer and larger, a partnership offer for Alden in one of her company's marine engine repair divisions, a position that paid well, valued his skills, and provided long-term security. Alden's chest tightened. "Kira, I can't. This is too much. It's not charity," she said, stepping closer. "It's gratitude. It's respect. And maybe it's the beginning of something I can't quite explain yet." Mira tugged her father's sleeve. "Daddy, can we accept? Please? She's nice." Alden looked from his daughter's hopeful face to Kira's trembling expression. The woman he had saved was now saving him in ways he never expected. He nodded slowly. Kira exhaled, relief flooding her. Over the following weeks, everything changed. Their new home became a sanctuary. Mira thrived. Alden's new work brought dignity, stability, and pride. And Kira became a constant presence, not out of obligation, but out of choice. What grew between them was gentle, unhurried, and filled with unspoken understanding. Shared dinners, quiet walks, moments where their hands brushed accidentally and neither pulled away. Alden realized something profound. Saving her had changed his life, but letting her in had changed his heart. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it forward, and subscribe to Kindness Journal so these true spirit stories can continue reaching those who need them. Special request. Comment. Kindness lives on. If you believe that one act of courage can rewrite 2 destinies,